भारत मंडपम का एक बार फिर से रुख करेंगे, जहां पर केंद्रीय मंत्री जितेंद्र सिंह इस वक्त मौजूद हैं।
Launch facility in Tamil Nadu and a whole host of fascinating things. Now, we can talk to Jitendra Singh ji about health because, sir, we did the session on nafrithromycin.
Oh, yes.
Right before this.
Oh.
Nafrithromycin is an antibacterial developed in India that treats all the drug-resistant bacteria, which is, of course, a major problem. So, my last conversation with Jitendra Singh was on nafrithromycin. Today, sir, let's talk about space, then we'll do quantum. What's happening about next in space? We know there is a manned mission being planned. We know that there are dreams to go to the moon. What's going on, sir?
No, thank you. Thank you at the outset. Thank you, Rishabh, for having me over here. And I must compliment for this beautiful conclave. I think possibly the first of its kind over here. And I'm sure it's going to be a trendsetter for many such more events to happen. And it's going to lead us to a number of valuable conclusions to follow up with. Now, yes, let me pick up by complimenting you for doing a session on nafrithromycin, as you said right before this. And just to add to what you might have already discussed is that earlier to this, all the antibiotics that were being marketed in India underwent their trials, and also the salt was developed outside. Of course, we got it here, we manufactured it, marketed it, but this was one such antibiotic which was indigenously developed, tried, and I'm proud that I'm associated with the Department of Biotechnology which did that, right from the first antibiotic that we had somewhere in the late 90s, the penicillin, which was founded by Alexander Fleming and was rated as queen of drugs. The successive generations were actually alien. So we have actually opened up into a new arena in the medicinal drugs as well. And of course, that's a beautiful example of public-private participation, because all the trials and the salt was developed in the public sector, as I said, the Department of Biotechnology. And then they partnered with a private pharma house called Wocards. So having said that...
So the head of BRAC was here to discuss this, yes.
Oh, that's fine, that's fine. So you want me to talk about space? Yeah.
Yes, I do, sir.
So, see, I think what is amazing, the space story of India is in itself going to be a case study in the years to come. Because the entire shift or the quantum leap that has happened in the last 4-5 years. And it's important to understand the strategies behind that. I mean, before I come to the future missions, because, and of course, some of the recent missions that you referred were amazing, because ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, was established in the year 1969, which has gone down in the history as the year when the US landed its first human being on the surface of Moon, Neil Armstrong. And ISRO was just being born. But today they have landed on the southern pole of Moon before anybody else. But what has gone behind this is something which is, I think, a subject of research, because for 60, 70 years, ISRO was predominantly depending on the government sources and therefore not able to exploit to the maximum extent the potential, the talent, and the capacities and the human resource available to us. And the human resource was available. If you go back to the archives and see the pictures of Sarabhai carrying some of his goods on the carriage of bicycle, you would understand against what constraints he was determined, or his team was determined to work. And therefore, the turning point happened when a few years ago we put this across to Prime Minister Modi, and I think it's time to acknowledge him for his personal intervention. He allowed us to open up to the private sector. Because if we have to actually move on from where we are today and also meet the global benchmarks, then we have to follow the global strategies. And we always drew parallel with NASA without realizing that NASA never depended primarily on the government source. Most of its resource was non-government. So for the first time, when we gave up that inhibition or broke that taboo of the past, which media fondly also described as unlocking of the space sector of India, We have a huge, huge investment from the private sector, even the FDIs, which have been allowed, which has been liberalized in case of space. And the result is that our first generation startups are not only world-class, but they have turned into massive
Okay, so I'll plug
entrepreneurs.
them because Srinath and Tanveer and Agnikul, Bellatrix, Dejantra, Pixel, all of them were here sir, this morning
Well,
to have these conversations, and they were sitting with Mike Massimino of NASA, and Oleg has been here. He's of course from Russia. He's a cosmonaut. So we've had fascinating conversations. But how exciting is it for people who don't know? So Pixel has just done a launch, and they do multi-spectrum analysis of Earth imagery. They've done a launch on with SpaceX. Bellatrix, Agnikul, they are doing rocket testing, and maybe within a year or so they'll have rockets to go at least to near Earth orbit.
Yeah, and the other one, which also came almost at the same time, the Skyroot have set up actually a rocket factory
Yes.
close to the Hyderabad airport. So that means there was huge amount of potential which was not finding the right kind of outlet or the right kind of enabling milieu which has been provided now. And now that it is there, I mean, I think the best testimony is that we had this European Union delegation over here in Delhi these days. And
You've just come from the meeting, and I know some of it's off the record. And I believe the Prime Minister has spent several hours. So this
Absolutely.
is something we are taking very seriously.
Yeah, but what I was going to tell you is that this morning itself, I happened to be with the commissioner responsible for space sector. Right. And he said that 21st century is going to be the century of space, and India is going to occupy that space. So I think that is how now the world has started looking at us. The space sector of India, the manner it has undergone a reshaping or rejuvenation in the last 5 years or 6 years has actually changed the perception about how India is looked at by the rest of the world. And not only that, I think our achievements in the space sector have also given us space in the media. Otherwise, in conclaves like this, science was hardly a subject of a very elaborate discussion. But now there are exclusive conclaves dedicated to space sector. So I think that's
pretty much every interview I've done with him for the last several years is we've always picked up on space.
No, that's very kind of you. What I'm trying to say is that it has generated a huge amount of popular interest. At the same time, it has also given us an esteem and confidence, a level of confidence to relate to the rest of the world. And the world now has begun looking up to us not as followers, but as a country which can offer some leads, cues, as we are doing, right? In case of Chandrayaan, as you said. Now, for example, the SpaceX mission, which was launched on the last day of the last year, 31st, it has come out with a novel experiment of growing seedlings in the space, that program called CROP, or orbital plant research. So that way, we are in certain ways undertaking initiatives ahead of some of the others in the space sector.
So India now has, of course, the various Chandrayans which are circling the moon. We have Aditya, which is studying the sun.
Absolutely.
What are the other plans, sir? Let's talk about the future. What's happening next?
Yeah, see, this 2025, we began with this SpaceX, which was the last day, then a NAVIC satellite. Now, very soon, we'll have a US satellite being launched, which would be, again, dedicated to the kind of work that you're doing, communication through satellites. And then we have a NISAR satellite, which is a collaboration between NASA and ISRO. It had to be done somewhere in